When God is preparing you for something bigger, the journey often begins with discomfort. This discomfort is not a punishment. It's a signal that something is changing within you. Many people expect that divine preparation will be a smooth and seamless transition. But in reality, it is often marked by a season of discomfort. This period can feel unsettling. You're being stretched beyond your limits or thrust into unfamiliar territory. However, it is during these moments of unease that God is working deeply within you, molding you for the future He has planned for you. We tend to seek comfort because it feels safe, stable, and familiar. But comfort can sometimes breed complacency. It can prevent growth because it keeps us from challenging ourselves, stepping out of our routines, and embracing the unknown. But when God is preparing you for something bigger, He doesn't want you to remain in the confines of your comfort zone. Instead, He calls you out of it because in discomfort lies the potential for the greatest growth. Think about it. When we are in a comfortable place, we are rarely pushed to our fullest potential. It's when we face challenges that we are forced to rise to the occasion, to tap into strength and resilience we didn't even know we had. It's in those uncomfortable moments that our faith is deepened, our character is refined, and our dependence on God is heightened. Without discomfort, there would be no need for growth. Without a challenge, there would be no stretching, no transformation, no preparation for something greater. The discomfort might come in many forms. It could be an inner feeling of unease, a sense of being stuck or stagnant, or the awareness that something in your life needs to change. It might manifest as an external circumstance. Perhaps you are facing a challenge at work, in a relationship, or in your health. The discomfort could even be a sense of yearning for something more, but not knowing what that more is just yet. It is in these moments that you are being prepped for greater things. God is breaking you out of your comfort zone and into a season of growth. The key is to recognize that discomfort is not the end. It is only the beginning. God is not bringing discomfort into your life to harm you or to leave you feeling frustrated and stuck. He is using it to shape you into the person you need to become in order to fulfill His greater plan for your life. When God starts to stretch you, it means He is getting you ready for something that will require more from you. More strength, more patience, more faith, more endurance. The discomfort you feel is not meant to defeat you, but to prepare you for what lies ahead. Think of it like the process of refining gold. Gold must first be heated to high temperatures to melt away impurities. This process of intense heat is uncomfortable for the gold, but it is essential for the refinement to take place. In the same way, the discomfort you feel is God's way of refining you, removing what's unnecessary, and making you stronger, purer, and more capable of handling the blessings He has in store for you. During this time of discomfort, you may feel as if you're losing control or that your circumstances are spinning out of your grasp. But in reality, God is taking control of your life in ways that are unseen. He is preparing the soil of your heart, deepening your character, and positioning you to take on the responsibilities that are ahead. While it might feel uncomfortable, it is necessary. The stretching, the unease, the tension, these are all signs that God is preparing you for a higher purpose. It's important to remember that discomfort does not mean you are doing something wrong. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that when things aren't going smoothly, we must be on the wrong path. But in truth, discomfort is often the very evidence that you are on the right path. God uses these seasons of stretching and discomfort to position us for something greater, to lead us into the next chapter of our lives. So instead of resisting the discomfort, embrace it, trust in the process, and allow it to refine you. When God is preparing you for something bigger, He will always start by preparing your heart. He will stretch you, challenge you, and lead you through uncomfortable situations to build you into the person capable of handling the new season He is about to bring. Don't shy away from the discomfort, because it is a sign of growth. It's a sign that God is at work in your life, preparing you for the future He has planned. And as you move through this season of discomfort, trust that God is faithfully preparing you for something far greater than you could ever imagine. When God is preparing you for something bigger, the challenges you face may intensify. These aren't random obstacles, they are divine opportunities for growth. It's common to feel as though things are getting harder just when you thought you were getting on track. But the truth is, these increased challenges are often a sign that God is getting you ready for a higher level of responsibility, influence, or blessing. Every challenge you face during this season has a purpose. It's not a setback, but a setup for something greater. As you experience these challenges, it may seem as though you're being pushed further than you can go. The pressure might feel overwhelming at times, and the obstacles may seem insurmountable. However, God uses these very challenges to stretch you, to increase your capacity to handle what He is preparing you for. Just as a muscle grows stronger by being tested with weight and resistance, your faith, character, and resilience grow stronger when you face challenges head-on. God is strengthening you for the calling He has on your life, and each challenge you face is another layer of preparation for the bigger purpose ahead. During this time, it's important to understand that God doesn't bring these challenges to break you. Instead, He allows them to come into your life to refine you. The difficulties you're encountering are like the fire that purifies gold. They remove impurities and help reveal your true strength. Through these challenges, you will discover hidden abilities, tap into new levels of perseverance, and develop deeper wisdom. The person you are becoming through this process is being shaped for something greater. Increased challenges are also a sign of God's trust in you. When God allows you to face difficulties, He's not abandoning you. He's equipping you. It's easy to feel like God is distant when life gets tough. But in reality, He is right there with you, walking through the struggles alongside you. He believes you can handle it, and He knows that the strength you gain from overcoming these obstacles will position you for the success and the blessing that He has in store. God doesn't just want you to survive the challenges, He wants you to thrive through them. These challenges may also push you to lean more heavily on God. When things seem impossible, it's in those moments that your dependence on Him becomes more pronounced. You begin to realize that you cannot overcome these challenges on your own. And that's exactly where God wants you, relying fully on Him. He will provide the wisdom, strength, and guidance needed to navigate these obstacles. And as you lean into His presence during this season, you'll find that the challenges you face become less daunting, and you gain an inner peace and strength that can only come from. Each challenge you face is a stepping stone toward your purpose. The more challenges you overcome, the more equipped you become to step into the bigger things that God has for you. It's essential to view each challenge as part of your preparation. Instead of seeing them as roadblocks, see them as opportunities to grow. They are there to build your character, strengthen your faith, and develop your trust in God's plan. Know that with every difficulty you encounter, you are being prepared for something greater than you could have ever imagined. So when you find yourself in the midst of a particularly tough season, don't lose heart. Understand that these challenges are not a sign that God has forgotten you. They are evidence that He is preparing you for what lies ahead. As you persevere through these times, remember that your struggles are not in vain. They are shaping you into the person who is capable of handling the immense blessings and responsibilities that will come with God's greater plan for your life. Trust that He is with you every step of the way, and that He is using this season to prepare you for something much bigger and more impactful than you could ever fathom. When God is preparing you for something bigger, there are moments when you will experience a sudden sense of clarity and purpose. It's as if the fog that once surrounded you begins to clear, and you can see the direction in which you are being called. This clarity doesn't come from your own understanding or planning, but from God Himself. It's in these moments that you realize that everything you've been through, every struggle, every challenge was not in vain. It was all part of God's divine plan to position you for greater things. You may have had times in your life when you felt lost or uncertain about your purpose. Perhaps you were unsure of where you were headed or what God wanted you to do next. But when God is preparing you for something bigger, He often provides clarity in unexpected ways. It might come in a quiet moment of reflection, through a conversation with a trusted friend, or through a scripture that speaks directly to your heart. The clarity you experience during this time is a divine confirmation that you are on the right path and that God's plan for your life is unfolding exactly as it should. This newfound clarity can be both exhilarating and overwhelming. It's exhilarating because you finally see the bigger picture and you realize that the struggles you've endured have all been preparing you for this moment. It's overwhelming because now that you see the direction God is leading you in, you might feel a sense of responsibility or urgency. But that's where faith comes in. God gives us clarity not to overwhelm us, but to empower us. When He reveals His purpose for your life, it's a sign that He trusts you with the next step in your journey. He is showing you where He's taking you, and He's asking you to trust Him as He continues to guide you forward. At the same time, it's important to remember that clarity doesn't mean all your questions will be answered immediately. Even though God provides glimpses of His plan, there is often still a period of waiting and trusting. You may not have all the answers yet, but the clarity you do have is meant to give you peace and assurance that you are moving in the right direction. It's a reminder that God is in control and His timing is perfect. As you continue on this journey, trust that He will continue to guide you step by step. This clarity also brings a sense of purpose that wasn't there before. You begin to understand why you've been through certain struggles, why you've had to face certain obstacles. The pieces of your life start to come together, and you can see how everything is connected. God is revealing His purpose for your life, and with that revelation comes a sense of peace and excitement. You are no longer aimlessly wandering. You are walking with intention, knowing that God is leading you towards something bigger. This clarity is a sign that God is not only preparing you for something greater, but that He is actively guiding you to it. It is an invitation to step forward in faith, trusting that the purpose He has revealed to you will come to pass in His perfect time. Even when the full picture is not yet clear, hold on to the peace that comes with knowing you are walking the path God has set for you. The clarity you receive is a reminder that His plan is unfolding and you are right where He wants you to be. Divine delays are often one of the most challenging aspects of the journey when God is preparing you for something bigger. It's easy to become frustrated when things don't seem to be moving as quickly as you'd like. You might have an idea of what you want to accomplish, and you feel ready to step into your purpose. But the doors aren't opening, or circumstances seem to be at a standstill. However, it is in these divine delays that God is working behind the scenes in ways you cannot yet see. These waiting seasons are not a sign that God has forgotten about you, or that your dreams are being put on hold. Instead, they are a vital part of the preparation process. It's easy to view delays as setbacks, but God's timing is always perfect. He knows exactly when you are ready for the next step. His delays are not punishments, but opportunities for growth, development, and refinement. Often, God is allowing these pauses in our lives to prepare us mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for the next chapter. Sometimes we may think we are ready to move forward, but God, in His wisdom, knows there are still lessons we need to learn, aspects of our character that need refining, or even people we need to meet before we can step into the fullness of what He has for us. During these waiting seasons, God is teaching us patience, trust, and dependence on Him. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't go according to our own timelines. But when we learn to rest in God's timing, we begin to realize that the delays are often part of His greater plan. He is aligning the circumstances, people, and opportunities in ways that we might not fully understand yet. Trusting in God's timing requires surrendering our own expectations and allowing Him to orchestrate every detail. Even though we may feel like we are waiting for a breakthrough, God is using this time to refine our hearts and increase our faith. Furthermore, divine delays provide us with an opportunity to grow in our relationship with God. Waiting isn't just about enduring a period of inactivity. It's about drawing closer to Him. In moments of waiting, we often learn to rely on God in ways we might not have otherwise. As we wait, she shapes our character, deepens our faith, and prepares us for the new season. These delays are not wasted time. They are essential moments for God to reveal more of Himself to us, strengthen our trust, and deepen our dependence on Him. During a divine delay, it's also important to remember that God is not inactive. While we may feel like we are stuck or stalled, God is always at work. He is orchestrating circumstances in the background, preparing opportunities that we may not yet be able to see. We may not know why we are waiting, but we can trust that He is moving things into place for the right moment. There are times when we need to trust that God is doing something far beyond our understanding, preparing the path ahead, even when we can't see it yet. When God allows delays, He also helps us develop patience and resilience. Patience is not just about waiting, it's about how we wait. The process of waiting allows us to develop a deeper trust in God's plan. In turn, this strengthens our faith. While delays may feel uncomfortable or even discouraging, they are a sign that God is aligning everything in perfect order, preparing us for the moment when the doors will open. These delays teach us to trust that when the time is right, God will make a way for us, and the preparation during the waiting season will prove to be invaluable. As you move through a season of divine delay, it's essential to hold on to the hope that God's timing is always right. Even when you don't understand why things are taking longer than expected, trust that the delay is part of God's preparation process. He is not withholding good things from you. He is simply preparing you for what is ahead. The waiting seasons are not a waste. They are part of your journey, and they are preparing you for a purpose that is greater than anything you can imagine. During the waiting seasons, you may find that your faith becomes deeper and more rooted in God. It's easy to rely on our own strength when things are going well, but when faced with delays and waiting, we are forced to depend on God in ways that stretch our trust and deepen our relationship with Him. So when you face a delay, remember that it is not a sign of abandonment, but a sign that God is working in you and through you, preparing you for something even greater. When God is preparing you for something bigger, you will inevitably find yourself developing a deeper and more intimate relationship with Him. As you go through the refining process and face the challenges of life, you will come to realize that true preparation is not only about the external circumstances, but about the transformation that happens within. It is in these times of struggle, discomfort, and waiting that you often grow the most in your faith and trust in God. It is through these experiences that you learn to rely not on your own strength, but on the strength and guidance of God. This deepening of faith and dependency on God can sometimes be the most significant shift you experience during a season of preparation. When things are going well, it can be easy to forget that we need God. But when things get difficult, we quickly realize that we cannot do it alone. It's during these times of challenge and transition that God allows us to grow closer to Him. Our dependency on Him deepens as we acknowledge that we are not in control, and we come to understand that God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. As you go through this process, you might find yourself praying more earnestly, seeking His presence more often, and trusting in His provision. When you encounter difficulties and obstacles, your natural tendency may be to try to fix things yourself. But God wants to teach you to lean on Him and to trust Him with every detail of your life. He uses these moments to draw you closer to Him, to show you that He is the one who holds your future, and to teach you how to live in complete dependence on His will and timing. This deeper faith and dependency on God are not signs of weakness, but of spiritual strength. When we come to the realization that we cannot do it alone, we allow God to take the lead. Our prayers become more sincere, our trust becomes stronger, and our hearts are more open to His guidance. We begin to see that God is not just a backup plan. He is our foundation, and in every season, He is the source of our strength and wisdom. In this time of divine preparation, God is cultivating a dependency that will serve you well as you step into the bigger things He has prepared for you. When you face the challenges ahead, you will be equipped not just with external tools or skills, but with a deep, unwavering faith that will carry you through any situation. The strength that comes from relying on God will not only help you succeed in the future, but will also become a testimony to others of His faithfulness in your life. As you learn to lean into God, you will begin to realize that this deepening of faith is one of the most valuable outcomes of your journey. Your relationship with Him becomes stronger, more personal, and more real. This deepened dependence on God is not just for the journey you are currently on, it is preparing you for everything that lies ahead. It is strengthening your foundation, so that when God brings you into the next season of your life, you will be able to stand firm in His strength, knowing that He is the one who prepares, equips, and sustains you for every purpose He has called you to fulfill. As you journey through the process of divine preparation, you may begin to notice that your desires are changing. The things that once seemed important to you may start to fade, and new, deeper desires are birthed in your heart. These shifting desires are not coincidental. They are a sign that God is aligning your heart with His will. When God is preparing you for something bigger, He begins to refine your desires so that they align with His greater purpose for your life. It's not that your desires are wrong, but rather that God is elevating them to reflect His perfect plan for you. In the beginning of our faith journey, we might desire things that are superficial or temporary. We might seek success, recognition, wealth, or approval from others, thinking that these things will bring fulfillment and satisfaction. But as we grow in our relationship with God, our desires start to shift. He begins to refine our hearts and shows us that true fulfillment is found not in the things of this world, but in His purpose for our lives. God starts to place in us desires that align with His kingdom, desires to serve others, to make a difference, to walk in His truth, and to glorify Him with our lives. This transformation of desires is part of the spiritual refinement that God uses to prepare us for the greater things He has planned. The desires we once had may seem petty or fleeting in comparison to the greater calling He is drawing us toward. As you grow closer to God, you'll find that your desires begin to reflect His priorities. You may start to yearn for a life of purpose, for deeper relationships, or for greater impact in your community. These desires are evidence of God at work in your heart, aligning your will with His. They are the natural result of being shaped and molded for something greater. However, this process of refining your desires can be challenging. It may require letting go of things you once thought you wanted, whether it's a certain career path, a specific lifestyle, or personal goals that no longer align with God's purpose for you. Letting go of these desires can feel like a loss, but it's actually a gain, because God is replacing them with something far better. This refining process requires trusting God's timing and plan. Even if it feels uncomfortable or uncertain at times, trust that God is leading you towards something that is more fulfilling and lasting than what you could have imagined for yourself. As your desires align more closely with God's, you may notice a shift in how you view success and achievement. Where once you might have defined success by external markers like wealth, status, or recognition, now your definition of success is rooted in fulfilling God's will for your life. You'll find that the peace, joy, and fulfillment that you've been searching for are not in the things of this world, but in walking with God and being obedient to His call. This transformation in your desires will equip you to take on the bigger purpose God has for you, because you will be driven by His will, not by fleeting ambitions or the approval of others. This shift in desires also helps you prioritize what truly matters. You may find yourself saying no to things that once seemed important but are no longer aligned with God's purpose for your life. As your desires change, so too will your choices. You will begin to make decisions based on eternal values rather than temporary satisfaction. This new perspective allows you to focus on what God is calling you to do, rather than getting distracted by things that are not part of His plan for you. And as you walk in alignment with His will, you will experience greater peace, contentment, and fulfillment than you ever could have imagined. It's important to remember that this shift in desires is a gradual process. It doesn't happen overnight, and it requires continual surrender to God's will. But as you grow in your faith, you will begin to notice that your desires naturally shift, and you will begin to yearn for the things that truly matter in the grand scheme of God's kingdom. The desires that once dominated your heart will begin to fade, and the desires that align with His perfect plan will take their place. And as this happens, you will find yourself more fully equipped for the bigger purpose God has prepared for you. Ultimately, these changes in desire are signs that God is preparing you for something far greater than anything you could have planned for yourself. He is refining your heart, aligning it with His, and positioning you for the greater things He has in store. Trust the process and embrace the transformation that is happening within you. As you let go of your old desires and align yourself with God's, you will find that His plans for you are far more fulfilling and impactful than anything you could have imagined. You are being prepared for a bigger purpose, one that will bring glory to God and lasting fulfillment to your life. When God is preparing you for something bigger, you may find that certain relationships in your life begin to change or even end. This can be one of the most difficult parts of the preparation process, as we are naturally inclined to hold on to people and relationships that are familiar and comfortable. However, divine separation is a sign that God is making space in your life for new relationships and opportunities that align more closely with your calling. This doesn't mean that those relationships were bad or that you should sever ties with everyone who isn't part of your future, but rather that God is guiding you toward the right people who will support, encourage, and challenge you as you move forward in your purpose. As God prepares you for something greater, He knows that the people you surround yourself with play a significant role in your journey. Some relationships may need to shift or even dissolve entirely because they no longer serve your higher purpose or align with where God is leading you. These shifts can be painful, especially if you've had long-standing friendships or close relationships with individuals who are no longer in alignment with God's will for your life. But in this season of divine preparation, God will often remove toxic relationships, unhealthy patterns of influence, and people who distract you from your true purpose. While it may be difficult to understand why certain relationships are ending, trust that God's plans are always for your good. He is creating space in your life for new relationships that will encourage your spiritual growth, challenge your mindset, and inspire you to pursue your purpose with renewed passion. These new relationships may come in the form of mentors, spiritual leaders, or like-minded individuals who share your vision and help you stay focused on God's plan. They will be the ones who will help sharpen you, support you through challenges, and celebrate your successes as you step into the bigger things God has for you. It's important to remember that relationships are a vital part of our growth, and God knows exactly who we need to walk with us in each season of life. Sometimes the people who were meant for one season of our journey are not the same people who are meant for the next. God is not removing them out of cruelty, but out of love for your future. He knows that some relationships can hinder your progress or cause you to be distracted from your purpose. And so, He lovingly guides you toward the people who will help you become the person He has called you to be. At the same time, divine separation often requires you to grow in your independence and confidence in God. You may feel alone or abandoned during this time, but remember that God is always with you. He is teaching you to rely fully on Him, to find your identity and purpose in Him alone, and to trust that He will bring the right people into your life at the right time. This season is an opportunity to strengthen your relationship with God, to develop a deeper sense of self-worth, and to learn to trust His guidance even when it means letting go of familiar connections. During this time of divine separation, be open to the new relationships that God is bringing into your life. These new connections will help propel you forward into the greater purpose He has for you. They may come in unexpected ways and through unexpected people, but trust that God is orchestrating every detail. as you let go of what is familiar and embrace the new up for something much greater than you could have imagined. His plan for you is always for your good, and He will never leave you without the support and relationships you need to fulfill your purpose. In moments of divine separation, it's important to hold on to the truth that God is not removing people from your life out of punishment, but out of preparation. He is making room for the relationships that will align with His divine plan for you. Trust the process even when it feels painful, and know that each step forward is part of your preparation for something bigger. The relationships God is placing in your life will help you fulfill your destiny and lead you toward the incredible purpose He has already prepared for you. This process of divine separation is a sign of God's love and care for you. He is ensuring that you are not weighed down by relationships that hold you back, but are instead surrounded by people who will elevate your spirit, challenge you to grow, and help you fulfill your God-given purpose. As you move forward into this new season of life, remember that God's plan is always greater than anything you could have imagined. Trust Him to bring the right people into your life at the right time, and know that these relationships will be a vital part of the journey toward the greater things He has prepared for you. As you continue to move forward in your preparation for something bigger, you may start to notice that you are experiencing an increase in both your challenges and your responsibilities. This can be an intimidating experience, as it may feel overwhelming and even make you question whether you are truly ready for what God has in store. However, these increased challenges and responsibilities are actually signs that God is preparing you for a bigger purpose. He is expanding your capacity and strengthening your ability to handle the greater things He is about to entrust to you. God often uses challenges to build resilience, patience, and faith. When we face obstacles, we are forced to rely on God in ways we might not otherwise. These challenges are not meant to break us. Rather, they are meant to shape us, to develop our character, and to help us grow in our ability to trust in God's provision and guidance. The difficulties you face may seem difficult at first, but as you walk through them with God by your side, you will realize that they are preparing you for the greater purpose that lies ahead. Increased responsibilities also play a critical role in your preparation. God doesn't call us to bigger things without first teaching us how to manage the smaller things. If you find that your responsibilities are increasing in both your personal and professional life, it's a sign that God is expanding your influence and equipping you for greater impact. While it may seem like a heavy burden, these added responsibilities are actually a blessing because they are an opportunity for you to develop the skills, discipline, and leadership qualities that will be essential for the bigger work God is preparing you to do. One of the most important things to remember when facing increased challenges and responsibilities is to stay focused on God. It's easy to become overwhelmed when life becomes more demanding, but it's in these moments that God is teaching you to rely on His strength rather than your own. He is building your faith and helping you understand that with Him, nothing is impossible. As you learn to trust in His guidance and provision, you will see that the challenges and responsibilities you face are not obstacles, but opportunities to grow, develop, and step into your greater purpose. Additionally, as your responsibilities grow, you will find that God is preparing you to be a leader. Leadership is not about having a title or position of power. It's about the ability to influence, serve, and guide others. The challenges you face and the responsibilities you are given are opportunities for you to practice leadership skills that will be essential for the bigger purpose God has in store. Leadership involves not only making decisions and managing tasks, but also inspiring and encouraging others, setting an example, and walking in humility. God is using the experiences you are having now to equip you to lead others with wisdom, compassion, and integrity. In the midst of all this, it's crucial to remember that God's strength is made perfect in your weakness. When you feel overwhelmed by your responsibilities or discouraged by the challenges you face, turn to God and ask for His help. He is always faithful to provide what you need when you need it. Trust that He is using these experiences to grow you, to prepare you for something greater, and to shape you into the person who can handle the responsibility of what lies ahead. You may also begin to notice that the way you respond to challenges and responsibilities starts to change. What once seemed impossible or daunting may now feel like an opportunity to trust God more deeply and rely on His guidance. This shift in perspective is a sign that you are maturing in your faith and in your ability to handle the responsibilities God has placed in your life. The bigger purpose that He is preparing you for will require a heart that is willing to serve, a mind that is focused on His will, and a spirit that is ready to overcome any obstacle that stands in the way. Ultimately, the challenges and responsibilities you are facing are not only preparing you for what God has in store, but they are also refining your character, expanding your capacity for leadership, and teaching you to rely on Him. While it may feel difficult at times, trust that God is using every moment to shape you into the person who will be able to walk in the greater purpose He has already set before you. The greater things God has in store for you will require preparation, and the challenges and responsibilities you face now are simply stepping stones leading you toward your destiny. To embrace them, knowing that God is with you every step of the way, strengthening you and preparing you for the greater things He has already planned for your life. When God is preparing you for something bigger, stepping forward in faith becomes one of the most powerful acts you can take. Faith is the catalyst that propels you forward, even when you can't see the entire picture or when the road ahead seems unclear. Stepping forward in faith is not about having all the answers or knowing exactly how everything will unfold. It's about trusting God's direction and moving forward with the confidence that He will guide you every step of the way. Faith often calls for action, not passivity. It is not enough to simply believe that God has a plan for your life. You must also take steps in alignment with that belief. Stepping forward in faith means embracing the unknown, pushing past fear, and trusting that God is bigger than your circumstances. It means putting one foot in front of the other, even when you can't see the end goal clearly. When God calls you to something greater, He may not give you the full roadmap, but He does give you the courage to move forward. The act of stepping forward in faith is often accompanied by uncertainty, doubt, and even fear. This is perfectly normal, but it's important to remember that faith is not the absence of fear. It's the courage to act in spite of it. You may feel like you're stepping into the unknown, but as you move forward, God will reveal more of His plan, piece by piece. Each step you take strengthens your trust in Him and increases your confidence that He is leading you in the right direction. The key is to keep moving, even when you don't have all the answers, knowing that with God by your side, every step is purposeful and aligned with His greater plan. Stepping forward in faith also requires a willingness to let go of control. Often we want to know exactly how things will unfold, and we may even try to control the outcome. But true faith is surrendering that control to God and trusting that His plan is far greater than anything we could orchestrate on our own. When we choose to step forward in faith, we are saying, God, I trust You with the unknown, and I trust that You will equip me for what's ahead. It's a declaration of dependence on His strength, His timing, and His wisdom. One of the beautiful things about stepping forward in faith is that it opens doors to new opportunities and experiences that you could never have imagined. When you take that first step, even in the midst of uncertainty, you position yourself to experience God's faithfulness in ways that strengthen your trust. You will see Him provide, guide, and open doors that no one could have foreseen. Each step forward will lead to new revelations about God's character, His faithfulness, and His incredible ability to use even the smallest of steps to bring about His divine purpose. Stepping forward in faith also means leaving behind the comfort zones that have previously defined your life. When God calls you to something greater, it will often require you to leave behind the familiar and embrace the unfamiliar. This may be in the form of moving to a new place, changing careers, or making bold decisions that stretch you beyond your comfort zone. But stepping out in faith is a powerful way of saying, I trust God more than my comfort. It's a declaration that you are willing to follow Him wherever He leads, no matter how intimidating it may seem. The act of stepping forward in faith strengthens your spiritual muscles, helping you grow in your dependence on God and your ability to discern His voice. As you continue to step forward, you'll begin to see how God has been working behind the scenes all along. You will start to understand that each decision you make in faith is part of His larger, divine plan. God is preparing you for greater things, and stepping forward in faith is a vital part of the process. Trust that every step of faith you take, no matter how small it may seem, is a step closer to the purpose God has for you. Even when the path is unclear, trust that God is leading you, guiding you, and refining you every step of the way. He is faithful, and He will equip you for the journey. Stepping forward in faith requires courage, trust, and a willingness to follow God into the unknown. But it is one of the most powerful ways to experience His transformative power in your life. When you step forward, you are not just moving toward a bigger purpose. You are moving into a deeper relationship with God, one that will equip you to do far more than you could ever imagine.